Hello and welcome everybody to the season finals of the autumn season for the Challenger Cups. We have the 32 best duelists and most successful duelists from the autumn season in one duel room, but only one is going to be your winner. A tournament that I am particularly interested in because, of course, it is happening just 1 week before the second stage of the Duelist Cup. So we're going to see which decks exactly are going to come out on top today. It's going to be very exciting. And of course, we have some of the best duelists in Europe from Master Duel. So that's going to be exciting. Let me quickly just turn on the in-game sound. I'm just now noticing I'm missing that. And then we're going to hop into our first set of games. The rules for today, as always, every duelist has brought 2 decks to the tournament. And they have to play a best of 3 with those decks. For the first round, I spotted a pretty good matchup here. Abu Hamud against DGZ Bot 5, which of course is Foden, where, as you can tell from the World Championship icon as well from 2023. And we have Abo going first. All right, let's see. We have a Molcharmi Fualos in the draw phase here from Boden. And a Ketu Draco Tail that gets met with a Dominus Impulse. Okay. That is going to stop the Ketu. Normal summon Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous. So we're still going to be able to perform a fusion summon. We're making our Thalion. We are using Valor and Lucius. Not ideal, but I guess it does play at least. Ooh, Magnamute on that Valor is perfect. So we do chain our own Drollin Lockbird here. This is going to stop further Fualos draws if we keep going, but also is going to prevent the Magnamute from searching. We're going to get the Lucius back to hand. Magnamute is still going to activate just in case a dragon hits the graveyard, but it probably won't. So voted on just three cards right now. We're gonna see Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda. No draw for that. And then we activate Rahu Draco Tail. Who's the guy from Worlds? That is Boden from Australia. He went in 2023 together with Herman and Isk. All right, Rahu resolves. We're getting a Gulamel, and now we're getting one trap from the Urgula. I guess the only annoying thing here for Abo is that he's not gonna have access to Mana. But we still are able to activate Verte. We're not going to have a lot of cards here. It's funny. This is looking kind of good for Abo, I think, even though we had Fuba, Impulse, Magnamute, which all got value. But the self-draw really coming in clutch here. Draco Tail Flame, the first option, or the first choice. And now Verte. Going to send Branded Fusion. I guess the question is, do you go for Mirajade or do you just go for Frixel plus Albaz to make... yeah, nice. I like that. I like that a lot. So we're doing Sanctifier. We're doing Sanctifier, and now Frixel is going to set another trap. And on the opponent's turn, we can go Sanctifier, revive Frixel to our side of the field, and then Frixel can revive Lucius. Or never mind, we're adding Lucius to the hand. Interesting. Okay, I guess we just want it as a discard. Alright, Cartesia goes back to the hand. We could have had this one as a discard for Albaz, but sure. And we're working with a face down Horn and Flame. It's a lot of disruptions for 4 cards in hand, honestly. We have the Gulamel, 2 trap cards. We have the Sanctifier that can revive Albaz. Not bad. Let's see. Putting Sanctifier under the EMZ. And why is that a problem? Into Malice? Because of, like, you don't want Heart Scripter to point to anything, I guess, is what you're saying? Yeah, fair enough. I mean, he does not know the matchup, but yes, the Allure of Darkness, in fact, does kind of show that it is Malice. I mean, you can guess from Impulse Magnitude probably that it's Malice, so yeah, fair enough. At the same time, like, you don't have anything to negate the Cryptor right now, so it's probably not going to matter, but yes. Alright, 3 cards in hand for Malice here. Normal summon backup at Ignister. Probably gonna have to do something about this, right? Because if you just let them make Lingeribo, that is kind of annoying. Even though, I mean, you could Sanctifier, but if they have like Bell... No, they can't have Bell because Impulse. Or if they have another Impulse, rather, for the Sanctifier, then the Lingeribo might be a real problem. But maybe, depending on what the add is here, right? Depending on if we have to add a Malice name and discard it, or if we can add Wizard. March Hare play? Yes, but at the same time, like, searching March Hare here is only a possibility if we have another Malice name already. And if we had another Malice name already, then the question is, why was the normal summon backup? So it is indeed the discard of the Dormouse here, and the self-draw really coming in clutch here, because that Magnamute would have otherwise searched another Bestial, which would have been huge. We do allow the Link 1 into the Lingeribo. And it is indeed March here in hand. So that's going to be able to banish the Dormouse. But we've drawn Maxi off of the Draco-tailed Flame. Okay, that's massive. And that forces a concede. Okay. Rough. That was the perfect draw off of the Draco-tailed Flame there. And that is gonna essentially seal the deal here in game 1. So Abo taking down Malice by Bowden in the first game, going first. Now Bowden back to the drawing board, going to be able to choose first or second in the second game. And both duelists will have the opportunity to switch to their secondary decks if they want to. Those traps are crazy. They are really good, but at the same time, I feel like the fact that they draw a card is kind of what makes them so interactive because cards like Ash and Bell can stop them. It's like whenever you draw like an Ash or a Bell for turn or a Purge or whatever against Draco Tail, it's always like, okay, you know, I can now negate their trap cards basically. And I think that's also somewhat what makes Draco Tail beatable usually. But yeah, it's weird, right? Because if they resolve, they feel very, very strong, which is, I mean, fair enough. All right, game number 2. It is a top 32 single elimination tournament today between the 32 best players of the season. So if you win, you move on. If you lose, you are eliminated. Is there a scenario where you play more than one of each? I haven't really seen people do that. I have seen people do that in Genesis format. Some people just play Draco Tail Flame in any deck, in the side deck for going first. But like in Draco Tail decks, I haven't seen people play multiple yet, no. It's just because I don't think you want to play more than 3 trap cards, because it's already sometimes mediocre to draw them. All right. Abo going second this time around, starting things off with a Molcharmy. This can be annoying, but it's also something that Malice can deal with. You know, the Malice half board is not that bad depending on the hand. But we might have to give like 2 or 3 draws to make it happen if it is Malice again here for Bowden. It can be worse without Ransom. Yes, it can be worse without Ransom for sure. There it is. White Rabbit is the normal summon. And I guess normally the way to make White Rabbit a 1-card combo is by going for TB11, but TB11 is of course a lot less useful when you're met with a Molcharmy. And we're actually gonna call it a day with this. 0 draws, setting MTP07 for follow-up. We do have Maxi in draw phase here as a counter. Does that resolve? Chain Mitsurugi Prayers. Okay, Abo has switched decks to some Mitsurugi variant. However, we do not have an answer to the Maxi right now, it seems. No Ash Blossom being chained. So, Prayers in response to the Maxi. Odin thinking about a potential response. I mean, Ash Blossom unlikely because we let the Fuwalos resolve, but could have a Bell. Bell has become a relatively popular card since the introduction of Draco Tail. In general, Bell, I think Bell is in a pretty decent spot in Master Duel right now. It's got its uses against Malice. It's pretty decent against Mitsurugi. And it also does pretty well against Draco Tail. So Ghost Bell has been a popular card. You'll find applications for it in most other matchups as well. You know, whether it's like Fiendsmith or whatever, you know, you'll find ways to stop things. Okay, and Bonfire here. Normally a really good card. I mean, we've drawn Bonfire, Mitsurugi Prayers, but it's under Max C, where it's not as good, of course. And we do know that Bowden does have the MTP 07 for a guaranteed play next turn. So we kind of have to make something happen here. We send Ryzeal Detonator to special summon X. And that does resolve. It does give a draw to Bowden. Are we going to go for a game here? Or are we just going? I could see just normal summon Sword and make a Detonator or something. But then I do wonder why we put a detonator into graveyard with the extra Ryziel. Maybe just to attach it. Well, okay, Sword Ryziel is going to be special summoned, so another draw here for Bowden. Searching Ice Ryziel. It feels like we're going for it right now. It feels like we're going in. We're going for Duo Drive. I mean, of course, if Duo Drive resolves, we will have the Ryziel Cross to insulate our plays from one interruption. And the Duo Drive does resolve. And I mean, Ryziel Mitsurugi can definitely go for game from this position. It's just a matter of how many max C draws is this going to be. Because we do have, of course, King of the Feral Imps in Master Duel, so that's going to be an option to still go for the Mitsurugi stuff. Of course, cards like Dominus Impulse are not affected by Ryziel Cross, so you cannot prevent the Dominus Impulse from stopping your Mitsurugi Ritual spell. However, if you Dominus Impulse, that also means Abo is no longer going to have to respect Nibiru in any of the plays. So, gonna go for a draw here with the Ryziel Cross. Draws one for turn. Not for cross, I mean. 6 cards in hand. We know Ice Ryziel. We know Node Ryziel. Normal Summon Ice activates the effect. Gonna perform more special summons. Gonna summon back the one of Sword. 6 cards in hand now for Bowden. Not close. Not enough damage on the board yet. Not even close. 6,000 and there's still a White Rabbit in the way. So gonna have to push further. And we're going for King of the Feral Imps. And King of the Feral Imps is a lot of special summons if we go for Habakiri. Because that's gonna be another special summon for the Saji probably. And so on. So that is going to be tough. When is the branded part? I don't know if there's going to be much branded in this one. Odin really considering... Okay, activating a March Hare here. Maybe testing the waters for the Ryziel Cross. I doubt that we're going to negate a March Hare. And we are not. March Hare gonna put up another defense. However, this doesn't really stop anything if we do go ahead and summon Murakumo, right? This White Rabbit in attack position is interesting. Why is it in attack? I'm kind of scared. Setting up TB11. Activate this. Ah, I see. The opponent controls 3 or more cards. So we can summon a Malice Link monster here. But there's a red reboot. Okay. The plan was... This is something that doesn't happen very often. TB11 was going to summon a Link monster from the extra deck, which cannot activate its effects, but it is a Link monster that counts for... It counts for MTP07 to banish a card. Now... I think chances for Abo have significantly improved because we don't have to be afraid of the trap cards anymore. That includes Dominus Impulse. Cannot be activated even from hand this turn. We have Ryziel Cross to check for Nibiru. So maybe we can make it happen. It can activate its effect if it's hard crypto. No, that's not true. This hard cryptor says it cannot be negated, but TB11 does not negate the effects. It just says you can't activate. That is not something that hard scriptor prevents. That is incorrect. All right, and here goes Habakiri. And now, I mean, which cards can Boden draw here that make a difference, right? We've got Ash Blossom, which can still be used, which is, of course, huge against Mitsurugi. I think Ash Blossom here probably going to force the Ryziel Cross, and then it's just going to be a question of, do you play Nibiru or not? Because I do think if you want to go for game here, likely you have to use Ryziel Cross here to negate this Ash Blossom, unless you have the tools in your hand already to go for game. Then you can save it for Nibiru. And of course, we do know that Malice typically plays a couple of Bystials, so those would be things you can throw in the way of the combo. At the same time, Abo doesn't necessarily have to deal 7,700 damage this turn. You could also maybe get away with just doing slightly under and leaving Malice at like 200 life points or something. But yeah, we do indeed. We have to negate with the cross here. And at this point, we're just saying, like, you're not going to draw Nibiru. We know there's a Note Ryziel hand in hand and a Habakiri. The other cards I don't think are known. We tribute Habakiri from the hand to special summon Murakumo from the deck. That is going to destroy the board for one more draw. And this is now... quick math, this is exactly 8,000 damage on board after Murakumo has wiped these two white rabbits off the field. We get another search for Habakiri. And we could potentially now call Battle Phase. But then one Bystial would stop us here. I guess we'll find out. We have called Battle Phase. Is there a Bystial? If not, this is going to be the end of Boden's run today. Not looking like there's a response. There's not. And Abo takes down Boden with the Malice deck 2-0 with the help of a red reboot here in Mitsurugi Ryziel. Very interesting secondary deck choice there. Queuing the red reboot deck for when you were supposedly forced to go second after winning the first game, and then taking down Malice with that. I mean, it was clutch there. What can you say? It stopped the trap card from banishing the King of the Pharaoh Limbs and also didn't have to worry about Dominus Impulse for the rest of the turn. Pretty good use of red reboot puts Abo into the top 16 for today. GG. Okay, let's pick another match. Let's go in between Fëanor and Name Magician. Now, I don't know what the score is between these two at this point. I'm just going to put it to 0-0 for now. They probably are in game 2 or 3 already, but I'm not entirely sure. We can check the score after. Fëanor going first here. Set 3 pass. Now, is this what the deck is intended to do, or is this a bad sign? Set 1, Allure of Darkness, indicating another Malice duelist. Banishes White Rabbit. White Rabbit effect. Set GWC. Link 1 into Lingaribo, already checking some of those back rows. Activate Backup Ad Ignister. A phenomenal hand here for Malice. Searches Dormouse. Discards MTP07. Normal summons Dormouse. Super Poly, discard Retaliating Sea, fusing all 3 into the Predaplan. That's pretty big, I'm not gonna lie. We have Magnamood as well. How this hand is crazy. Magnamood banishes the Dormouse. Second Super Poly? Nope. Activate Dormouse, banish March Hare effect. Back to hand. Activate TB11, banish Dormouse, summon Chessy Cat, link into Link Decoder, and that is going to be negated and destroyed by the Predaplan. I do wonder, isn't it better to wait for the Link 3? All right, Hard Scripter hits the field. Goes battle phase. Vanishes the Predaplant and attacks for 31. Activate G-Dub. This could be it. And yeah, that was it. Okay. Was that game 1 or 2? That was a quick one. I doubt that first game took so long. In-room replays. That was Name Magician defeating Fëanor. And Name Magician already had a win against Fëanor, so Name Magician is gonna move on. All right, let's see what the stat... Okay, Blue versus Cat. Blue versus Cat. Cat has a win. And Blue has a win. Okay, so this is game 3. We're jumping into a game 3 here between these two. And it is Blue going first. With a Lucius. Fetching 5 mana. 5 mana effect, response, Fuwalos. Okay, fair enough. Well, probably not the biggest deal for Dracotail. You're probably okay with that. Going to fuse Lucius with another Fuwa in hand. Okay, just one Dracotail name here in the hand for Blue. Not ideal. Going to add back 5 mana. And normally you would really like to resolve Rahu in a case like this, but we are going for Flame now because we are under Fuwa. Adds back 5 mana and passes turn. Okay, Flame and 5 mana ready to go against 6 cards in hand here. Free Preparation of Rites. Resolves. Habakiri. Chain Maxi. There is an Ash now. However, I feel like it was a good call to try and bait Ash with Flame first. Personally. Saji, because that was a very tempting Ash Blossom on Dracotail Flame when they tried to negate your pre-prep. I think checking for Ash when you have Maxi in hand there was pretty nice. Of course, we get to Flame the Ritual now. However, we know there's Mirror in hand, so there's a high chance they can still play. But at least we get the draw from Flame. Normal summon Kusanagi. Add back the Ritual spell. We have Bell for that, which is nice. However, now you cannot Bell Mitsurugi Mirror anymore. Can Mirror be activated? It can. Tribute Futsu. Summon Habakiri. And that is going to spell trouble for Blue here. Futsu searches Ritual. Magnamoot banishes the Futsu. 5 mana activates. Ooh, are we gonna be able to get rid of this Habakiri as well? So they might not have a tribute. Chain Magatama is big. Hard draw Magatama, really clutch here. Can we even fuse with the 5 mana now? Can we even fuse with the 5 mana? It seems like we can. I mean, Mysterion is not bad here. Yeah, it's Lucius in hand. And it is Mysterion, the Dragon Crown. Habakiri activates. Mirror activates. Lucius activates as well. And Arthalion comes back. Okay, Arthalion coming back here probably is just gonna die to a Murakumo. Okay. Lucius is gonna set something that's gonna try to resemble follow-up. That's gonna be Ketsu, but I doubt that's gonna stay there. Mira goes back into the deck. Habakiri searches. So here's the thing. Habakiri here can search any Mitsurugi card. We know there is a... Do we know there's a Mitsurugi Ritual spell in hand? I think so. Yeah, we know there's a Mitsurugi ritual spell in hand. And we can still use the effect to summon from hand, I believe. I think we started with the one trying to summon from hand. That got flamed. Yes. The effect to summon from hand was already activated, but we can still activate to summon from deck. And I think the last card in hand here, unless I missed something, I think the last card in hand is unknown. So, interesting decision here. Now, in Graveyard, we've already used Futsu, we've already used Habakiri. And it's very important here to not bring the Habakiri back, because if you do bring the Habakiri back with its own effect, the Mysterion would banish all reptiles on your field. So we are not going to do that. We do have Magnamood Search in the end phase for Molulu or Urgula, I guess. Urgula being a very good discard for Murakumo, because we have Phimena and Lucius in the graveyard, so I think Urgula might actually be the ad. Okay, now interesting set of decisions here. Actually, why is the... If a monster uses its activated effect to summon itself... Oh. Oh. Why did we... Okay, well... Yeah, you can do that. Maybe they got it confused. Maybe they thought like, oh, the Habakiri has an effect that summons itself, so even though they didn't summon itself successfully, it still works. I'm not sure. Anyways, prayers, tribute, Kusanagi, search Habakiri, bring back Habakiri from the graveyard, reducing Mysterion. And now we can still... Oh, we go battle phase first here. We're not going to activate Ritual to summon Murakumo? Main phase 2? Activate in main phase 2, okay. Ritual summon a reptile from deck by tributing Habakiri from hand. Wait, we don't play 2 Murakumos? Why didn't we search Murakumo, tribute Murakumo? We could have gotten a search. Well, okay, alas. Likely gonna be a Dynamondo here, if I had to guess, to get rid of that Ketu. Mysterion is once per turn, yes. Alright, there's Dynamondo. Dynamondo is going to get rid of the Ketu. So at the moment, we are just operating on basically a Magnamood Search. And we do need a top deck here. We do definitely need a top deck. But Molulu, honestly, Molulu here, if you draw a Draco Tail name, probably okay. Or even any monster, maybe. Molulu and then draw a monster is probably okay. Unless the card in hand is like Interruption. But yeah, we go for Molulu. This game is not over. It's such a Draco Tail against Mitsurugi. Like both, like pure Mitsurugi against Draco Tail is a peak matchup. It's so fun. Normal summon Molulu. Activate effect. We have drawn a monster. We can perform a fusion summon. Best case scenario, this is Pan. If this is Pan, they are insane. Actually, Molulu... Oh, they had to chain Dynamondo there. Uh-oh. Not chaining Dynamondo. Oh, it's another Molulu. Okay. Not chaining Dynamondo is going to spell big trouble for Cat, because now Mululu is going to be on the chain. And if you chain Dynamondo now, that Mululu is going to negate the Murakumo. I wonder if it's correct to shotgun Dynamondo for Murakumo this turn. What beats Murakumo negate Mululu? Probably a good call. Yeah. Okay, now Dynamondo is going to tag out into Murakumo, but that's going to be a little too late. Because that Murakumo is now going to be negated in resolution here. We're adding back Bell and setting Rahu. Not entirely sure why we targeted a non-Draco Tail. Chain Retaliating Sea. Oh, the Retaliating Sea technology in Mitsurugi here. And that is going to hurt. I mean, it's hard to say who's ahead here, because like this is gonna be tough for Draco Tail. At the same time, no, I think Mitsurugi is ahead now. Mitsurugi is ahead. This Arthalion had to add back a Lucius or a Magnamut or something. I think just adding back Magnamut and then making SP with that to banish the Murakumo was pretty good. Anyways, Gulamel here, but that cannot activate because no Draco Tails are going to trigger. We're locked into fusions. We can't do anything. We can attack the Retaliating Sea, but that's going to give Cat a max C for future turns. At the same time, Mitsurugi is also pretty much out of gas here. However, one way to tribute this Murakumo and the game instantly ends. At the same time, we are also in a pretty bad spot when it comes to playing against the Murakumo, because we have, I mean, the Murakumo is negated forever by Mululu. So we're not going to have to worry about having to discard. We cannot make SP here. That would be way too easy because we are locked into fusion. But okay, passing the turn. If Mitsurugi draws one way to tribute this Murakumo, they win on the spot. And it's Mitsurugi Mirror. Oh god, the perfect draw. Okay. I mean, they had a lot of top decks. They can draw Mitsurugi Ritual. They can draw Prayers. They can draw... the Trap card probably also wins the game. They can draw Pre-Prep. They have a lot of good draws. But now Mitsurugi wins a very long-winded and back-and-forth game, honestly. I enjoyed this one a lot. There was a lot of decisions to be made, honestly. I think both players had little things where they could have played it a little safer, maybe. But at this point, Mitsurugi comes out on top with a clutch mirror. It was a very interesting game, though. That was awesome. All right, Prayers, Tribute, Habakiri. Gonna use both effects. Gonna search and special, and then Habakiri activates in the graveyard. We're gonna be able to search, and I mean, probably just gonna go for game here. But even if not, I mean, like, yeah, this is way more than enough. But even if we don't do enough damage this turn, we can just search the Mitsurugi Trap card, right? All right, and this is 8,400 damage on the board. However, the Kusanagi cannot attack. We have to remember that because it was revived off of Prayers, which is why we activate Ritual one more time. Summon one from hand. Do we have enough tribute fodder in the deck? Second Murakumo probably. Oh no, Night Sword Serpent and another Aramasa. Okay. And there's the Futsu. Wonderful. And Mitsurugi. Now can bring, actually, we can bring back Arthalion and Gulamel. I don't know if it's going to make a difference because we just tributed 2 monsters for that ritual summon. Murakumo can negate one of them, but not both. But I don't know. Chain Maxi. I've been talking about this game like it was over since 2 minutes and they're still going. Wow, okay. We actually don't use Murakumo negate, so we allow both of these to come back. Ulamel in defense. And now I think we have to go into the extra deck to still be able to have game, and it depends a little bit on what kind of extra deck options we got. Maybe you play like a Castel, that would easily make it game. Or a Light Dragon Ad Ignister to destroy one of these. Imagine now they lose the time. They do have only 3 minutes left, and they are currently behind in life points. That would probably be the craziest way to still win this game, is to just play in your main phase when the game has ended like 3 minutes ago. To just keep playing with your cards until time is called. But I think they figured it out. Destroying the monster with less defense points, leading to this not being game. So Draco Tail is gonna get another turn, but I don't think it's gonna make it. Yeah. IP Masquerena for a good measure, but there is no card that Blue can draw here because there is a Murakumo ready to negate. Normal summon Fallen of Albaz. End of main phase. SP Little Knight. Royal one at that. Banishing the Albaz. Confirming it was branded Draco Tail. I guess we didn't know that yet. Alright. And there. Now, please just attack. Don't start playing again. Okay, the Futsu. Futsu goes to the fence because that's where he's comfortable. And SP finishes the duel. Alright, GG's. That was a very fun to watch game. Draco Tail against Pure Mitsu is a peak matchup. Alright, nice. Well done. And Cat is going to move on to the top 16. All right, we're off to a good start. We've seen some good duels this top 32. I hope everyone is enjoying the tournament so far. We have the top 16 coming up very, very shortly. As I just told you, time is about to be called on the top 32. So shouldn't be a long break, but we are going to go on a very, very short break until the top 16 begins. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, welcome back, duelists. Short break as promised. The top 16 is about to begin, and we have the luxury of picking from all of these wonderful feature matches. We see a couple of T2 mirror matches going on over here. We've got T2 Fictinium going up against T2 Lingling, T2 Dominic against T2 Abu Hamud, and all these other wonderful matches. All right, which table is it, gamers? Can we watch FSN Boss? We could, yeah. FSN Boss against yugioh, also looking to be a pretty good matchup. So sure. You ask and you shall receive. All right, top 16, game 1. Boss going first. I believe Boss typically a Malice duelist, at least in recent days. I think we met on the ladder once or twice. Setting a card does not necessarily mean a bad thing, and there it is, Malice P White Rabbit. Setting GWC 06. Link 1 into Link Decoder, indicating March Hare or a Bastille in hand, and indeed it is March Hare. We're gonna chain Max C to that, and there is an Ash Blossom. Ash is the Max C. March Hare is going to come out, banishing the White Rabbit. And now we can see White Binder as the first Link 3 being summoned instead of course, the Red Ransom now. Gonna activate the TB11, which we hard drew. That summons Dormouse. Now Malice White Binder comes back from the banished zone. We have Ash for that, though. Okay, we trade Ash Blossoms here. That's not bad. White Binder stays banished. Activate GWC, so it's not going to stay banished for long. Banish Dormouse. What do you think about the fact that the banning of Red Ransom made Malice stronger against Dracotail? I don't particularly see how losing an option makes a deck stronger into a matchup, because the main deck hasn't really changed. I think the dynamic hasn't really changed in that regard. Like, yes, the deck has become a little bit weaker, but not specifically. Like, I don't think it's gotten stronger against Dracotail. They don't play the spell anymore. Yeah, but if you wanted to make the deck better against Dracotail and you think the spell is bad against Dracotail, then you could have removed it altogether. Like you have the choice as the Malice player to not play the spell if you think it's better that way. So I don't think I agree with that. All right, Cyber's Wicked. Link into Lingeribo. Wicked, Banish, Chessy Cat. Add backup. Activate backup. Grab Wizard and discard. Signet Mining. Okay. Is Malice a bit worse into Nib now with Ransom Ban, or kind of the same? It's about the same. I mean, Nib is good against the deck, but like if it's just Nib, I think it still is never really enough. All right, Splash Mage here towards the end of the line. That's going to allow us to get the Hard Scripter into rotation. I thought you were playing Malice? No. We go for a transcode talker line. Okay. That's going to bring back White Binder. Now we activate Wizard. And I guess now would be a pretty good time to Nibiru, wouldn't it? If we had it. All the way at the end, I think the Nib here would be pretty good. But it doesn't look like we have it. And so now we're going to be able to make the Allied Code Talker. Oh, not yet. Not yet. Firewall Dragon as well. Add back Ash to hand. Oh, okay. I like that. And now we make the Allied Code Talker with the Firewall. Because it's already used the effect. Alright, that makes it even stronger because now we have a guaranteed Ash in hand. Alright, have fun trying to break this board with just 4 cards in hand. Transcode Talker making untargetable. We have the Allied Code Talker negate. We have the GWC face down. We have the Hard Scripter in the graveyard. We have March here back in hand. Yeah, no, perfect. Normal summon Mululu. Activate Mululu effect. Allied Code Talker is gonna stop that. And we leave. Alright. Malice once again proving that it is still one of, if not the best deck in the format here. Game 1 by just playing through 2 interruptions like it's nothing. I mean, we did have Ash for Maxi, but they always do. Alright. And boss takes game 1. All right, DGZO gets a chance to go first now. We still see 40 versus 40, so could be the same decks. But the players have switched sides. And it is Draco Tail again. We are trying again, going first this time with Draco Tail. We start with Ketu. Boss does have a potential response, but chooses not to use it here. Now, of course, because Ketu includes the effect to perform a fusion summon, you can use cards like Retaliating Sea or Dominus Impulse on it, even if you don't control a monster. Normal summon Fable Lurie. It is a Draco Tail Fiendsmith version. Haven't seen that one a lot. I guess that's one way to make the deck weaker in Tumult Charmy Fualos, but if they don't have it, then I guess you're pretty happy. And it's not the case here, so we can just basically add the Fiendsmith stuff to our end board now, which I guess is neat. It does help against Retaliating Sea. Yeah, if Retaliating Sea is a very popular thing, this is one of the things you could do, because you can make a Caesar before activating your first spell, and then you can stop Retaliating Sea. That's true. Necroquip Princess. Ooh, Necroquip Princess draws a card if you 5 mana, right? I love that. Ghost Bell on Engraver, though. I guess we are scared of that Caesar after all. Please draw a card with 5 mana. I want to see that, please. 5 mana. Ah, now we draw for the bell. Okay, it's still cool, but it's not as cool. I thought it would have been cooler if they drew off 5 mana, but yeah, we get a draw off of Necroquip here. Very positive exchange against this Ghost Spell. Activate 5 mana effect. Yeah, you gotta be very happy with that. The Fiendsmith engine still did a lot for you here, right? Because that Ghost Spell normally would have negated one of the Draco Tail traps next turn. It instead basically being forced to be used here against the Engraver and also drawing the opponent a card made it so much worse than what it usually is against Draco Tail. Alright, and 5 mana is fusing Mululu and Urgula. So we do get a Royal Arthalion. We do get double sets, and we get to add back 2. Really strong start here for the GZO in the second game. It looks like it to me. It looks like it's pure Draco Tail with Fiendsmith in it. Yeah. Are we adding Engraver back? I didn't catch the targeting. We didn't activate Engraver at the start. We could still Engraver for track. Yeah, we are targeting Engraver. Yeah. We can still, because the Lurie is back in the deck, we can go Engraver for tracked for Lurie. Locked out of sequence? No, we're not locked into fusions yet. We can still make Caesar, yeah. Can even make the sequence with the Arthalion. We can leave Necroquip on the board to draw another card next turn if we activate 5 mana, which is awesome. There's sequence. We do have enough Light Fiends to go for Fiendsmith's Lacrima here and then bring back Engraver. And I guess the next step after we make Caesar, if we get to make Caesar, would be we have to decide, do we want to lock ourselves into fusions and keep the Necroquip around? Okay, now we activate March here. All right. Because we have to do this before Caesar comes down. But I don't think those cards are going to stay there. We go for MTP07. You could make SP Little Knight here to put the sequence in the graveyard, and then sequence equips itself to Engraver, and Engraver can send one of the monsters. Like SP the trap, force them to activate it, and then whatever they keep on the field you send with Engraver. Therefore, at least the board is empty before you lock yourself into fusions. Or you can also equip sequence from the field, I guess, and then make Caesar and keep the Necro equip, but then you don't have SP. Okay, linking off the Engraver is not what I was expecting, because I feel like we could have still used the send there, but we're going for Agnum Day. Okay, that's also a way to do it. We're bringing Agnum Day in rotation. That's neat. Bring back the Engraver. And now we activate the Engraver effect to send the White Rabbit. There's Caesar. I mean, this is looking really hard to break with Malice. I mean, Malice is going to have 5 cards in hand because we're going to go MTP07, banish March Hare, add, and then March Hare back to hand. So we have 4, draw for 5. But still, even with 5 cards, we're sending Pan here, which is going to force the MTP to be activated. And then we're gonna have to deal with a lot. We've got Caesar, Gulamel, all 3 trap cards from Dracotail. This is, I mean, it's basically the full Dracotail setup plus Caesar, which is very hard for Malice. Dracotail Flame. Dracotail Sting. March Hare goes back to hand, so there we go. 4 cards in hand again. Urgula, add back Phimena. And there we go, pass turn. This one is gonna be tough for Malice. MTP add Rabbit. Yeah, adding Rabbit with MTP probably means there is other plays in hand already, maybe. But at the same time, it's like normal summon Chessy Cat just for it to get destroyed by Gulamel also isn't really a good play, right? I think Rabbit is just like technically the best one to play into boards with because it immediately gets you a trap. And the traps make it easier to dodge stuff later down the line. But we do have Chessy Cat already. We are setting a back row here to indicate maybe we have a way to dodge something. I think if there's one thing you don't want to happen is you don't want the opponent to draw more cards. Because now you know the opponent has March Hare and White Rabbit in hand. And 1 unknown in hand and 1 unknown face down. I think getting them up to... Because if they resolve Chessy Cat here, they're back to 5 cards in hand, which they do activate it here. Do they have Ash on their own? Or do they let it happen? They do let it happen. Okay, 2 draws from Malice here. Interesting. White Rabbit also activates. We can just Caesar that. Yep. Activate TB11, summon 1 from deck. This could force the second Caesar activation already. But there's still a March here in hand. We do Caesar this. We don't want them to get another Malice name in rotation. They can bring the Chessy Cat back after this. Lacrima, burn for 12. You know, slowly but surely. Chainmail Charmy Fualos. Likely just drawing 1 card later off of the Phimena. This is going to allow Necroquip to draw a card earlier. Oh, didn't activate it though. There's Lingeribo. Activate Allure. Still activating the Flame. Nice, to force the Lingeribo to tribute itself. I think that's good. But I don't know. Malice is getting dangerously amounts of cards here, I feel like. We've allowed draw 2 of Chessy Cat. Now we are forced to allow draw 2 of Allure of Darkness. And all of a sudden, there's a bunch of cards in the Malice hand that we have no info on. March here goes back to hand. Four cards in hand now for Malice again. We still have a lot. We still have Horn, Sting, Phimena, Gulamel. It's still a lot. But once we use the Phimena, there's another draw because Fuva is active, so we'll see. But it's still going to require a lot here from Malice. Definitely not easy. I'd still say it's unlikely that Malice wins from here, even though it was... We allowed them a lot of draws, but we haven't allowed them any field presence yet, which is what Malice really cares about. No, we did not draw a card from Necroquip for the Fuva, which I'm not sure why. Alright, activate March here. The question is, do we have a good banish anymore? Because White Rabbit and Chessy have already used their banished effects. So, I mean, Dormouse is like the one that's left. Of course. Banish Dormouse here and maybe we're talking. No, we just banished TB11 from the graveyard. Alright, March here. Another Allure of Darkness now. Okay. Draw 2. Banish another March here. That's not very useful. Set 1. And we end the main phase, and I think that means Draco Tail is going to take down the second game here. Yeah, it is the end phase. We were not able to push through the Caesar. I mean, Caesar is just such a good card against Malice. End phase, Draco Tail Sting. Going to target 2 cards in the Malice graveyard. Trying to chain Gulamel to this. To destroy the face down, I would assume. Yep. Chain GWC, we can immediately activate it, but I don't think this is going to change anything. I think Draco Tail is just going to walk away from this one. To be fair, the Draco Tail stuff didn't really do anything. It was a flame that got negated by Lingeribo, but the major work here was the Caesar, really. The Caesar did a lot of work this game. The Draco Tail interruption we haven't even used yet. Yeah, it was very much a Caesar carry. And now we don't even have to add anything onto this board. This board is already enough to win the game on its own. Just switch the Necroquip to attack. So we have the most amount of time for game 3, I suppose. They currently have 20 minutes left, so that should be enough for a good game 3. We activate Agnum Day just to check maybe if there's a Bestial, because this is going to give us... it's going to give us piercing battle damage. There's a Maxi being activated now. That's probably a little bit too late. Needed that one on the first turn. That would have been really clutch. On the Fiendsmith engine, that would have been really annoying for that deck. But now we are going to pierce over this White Rabbit for massive amounts of damage. Draw a card for the Necroquip. Why not? And that is, even with a Bestial, this is going to be game. And there we go. FSN Boss goes down here in the second game. And this is going to bring us to a third game. However, now, of course, Malice with the chance to go first. And we all know how scary that can be. But maybe yugioh has something prepared to go second against Malice. Who knows? Lancia would be hilarious. I mean, Lancia is kind of good in Draco Tail because you can keep adding it back. So once you have Lancia, you always have Lancia. It's pretty strong if you actually hit the matchup you want with it. You think the current power level of those decks is fine? I mean, that's a topic we can talk about for like hours. I do think some of the decks are a little bit too powerful. Especially, I think it specifically starts when you mix different engines together and they go together a little bit too well. I really like the power level of a lot of the decks that are being played pure right now. Like Mitsurugi or Draco Tail or whatever. Malice is the exception to that. I think Malice, even in its pure form, is a little bit too powerful for my liking. But that's also because I just, in general, am more... I'm less of a combo deck enjoyer myself, so... Moltrami Fualos in response to the Dormouse in the banished pile. Which resolves... Activate Talents. Look at the opponent's hand. Ooh. And that's a good hand for Draco Tail. That's scary. You definitely have to give draws here. You have to play into this. We're taking away the only monster, which is good, because if they don't top deck a monster for the Rahu, that does not work. I mean, you can maybe make the guess that boss does not have an Ash Blossom in hand because we let the Puwalos resolve. At the same time, maybe we were scared of Max C. Now we're drawing 2 fresh cards with Chessy Cat, which is really good. Vanishing White Rabbit. Oh yeah, this is going to be a strong opener for Malice, even under the Puwalos. Even under the Puwalos, this is going to be very, very strong. Ooh, have we picked up? I think we picked up Droll and Lockbird. I think that means Droll and Lockbird was... Yep, we picked up Droll. Alright, the story of this top 16 match is essentially game 1 and game 3. Malice is able to go first and ignore... In game 1 it was Max C because we ashed it. In game 3 it's Puwalos because we have Droll and Lockbird. So we are going to witness basically the full Malice combo in game 1 and game 3, and that's going to be tough. We know there's Ketu and Rahu in Draco Tail's hand, but I honestly, even with the 2 most powerful spells in the deck, I don't know if we can beat Malice. You have to basically hope that Malice doesn't have Impulse or Ash, and that they have to like Allied Code Talker negate the first spell and then the second spell resolves, right? Then maybe you can go from there. Maybe. I'll say it right now, if there's Ash or Impulse in Malice's hand here, I think they just win by negating both of the spells. I mean, there's one draw off of the Fuwa before we got Drolled that we don't know about. Maybe there's like a Nibiru there. I'm not sure. Maybe that would have been used already. I don't know. What makes you think they have a chance even if a spell resolves? I think they have a very small chance if a spell resolves. I still think they are not likely to win, but... There's Cryptor. Activate March here. That's going to be Allied Code Talker, right? All right, let's see it. 3 face downs, Allied Code Talker. At least no March Share in hand, I guess. But I think GWC is ready to go. The good news is there is no Ash, true. But 2 face downs, I don't know how good of a news that is, because it probably means stuff like Imperm Impulse. Get to Draco Tail. Ominous Impulse. Yep. Yep. Alright, and Malice gets to ignore Maxi and the Charmies here in game 1 and game 3 and moves on to the top 8. Not much there to do for DGZO. Alright. Most other matches have already finished. We've got Pierre and Kindiaka still going at it at table 1. Let me quickly see what the score is between these two. We have a win here for Pierre and a win for Kindiaka. Alright. It is game 3 here as well. Let's see. Allure of Darkness. Malice P. March here. Normal Summon March here. Make Link Decoder. Wizard add Ignister. Alright, I'm gonna press this little button down here. Bring back Decoder, White Binder set TB11, activate TB11. Summon Dormouse, draw a card for White Binder, make Cyber's Wicked. Link 1 into Lingaribo. Stop watching Malice. I have the deck breakdown. I don't know if I can. Art Scripter. Backup, search March here for next turn. Discard Chessy Cat. Transcode Talker. Bring back White Binder effect. Banish Cryptor and Chessy. Draw 2. Up to 6 cards in hand. Make Firewall. March here effect. Banish Dormouse. Make Terahertz. Okay. Add back 2 with Firewall Dragon. Then D-Save Worm. Make Allied Code Talker. Alright. We used a Link 5 as Link climbing material into another Link 5. Just to send a spell trap negate from the extract to the graveyard. That's how far it's come. We used Firewall Dragon, Dark Fluid, Neo Tempest, Terahertz as Link Material 1 for Allied Code Talker at Ignister. Okay. Sales ban, declare Cryptor, search Nepirim, summon Nepirim, search. Extra summon Armadillo, search Hollow Core. Make Light Dragon at Ignister. Paint Droplet. Okay, is there something here? Destroy this. Activate Gem Knight Fusion. We're out of cards in hand now. Ghost Bell. Negate with Hollow Core. Add back Nepirim. Extra normal Nepirim. Make Phantom Quartz. Search Gem Knight Quartz. Activate Gem Knight Quartz. Set Scatter Fusion. Activate Scatter Fusion. Which we cannot negate because the Allied Code Talker is no longer on the field. Make Lady Rose. Do we win this? Pay 1,000 for Phantom Quartz. Now we're live. Make Lady Brilliant Diamond. Which special summons a Gem Knight from the extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Sending away Phantom Quartz. I mean, these are some big attacks coming in. There's Gem Knight Master Diamond Dispersion. Tribute to summon up to 3. We summon Ruby, which inflicts piercing damage, which is good against the White Rabbit. Topaz, which can make 2 attacks and does damage if it destroys something by battle. And Aquamarine, which bounces a card if it goes to the graveyard. Okay, we tribute 1. A huge attack. Okay. Activate Gem Knight Fusion. Uses 3 into Master Diamond, which banishes 1 from grave and gains the attack, gains the effect. Topaz. Now it has 2 attacks. We're in battle phase now. This is just game. What the? Okay. All right, so I guess Gem Knight, specifically built for going second, was able to beat that board. But to be fair, their hand was kind of crazy. We had Salesman for Heart Scripter. We had Droplet for Allied Code. We had really strong engine. And the opponent also had basically no non-engine, even though they went for the full Malice combo, right? No Ash Blossom, no Impulse, no Nibiru, nothing. But okay, I guess if the stars align, you can do it. I mean, yo, cool to see. Cool to see. All right. There was Bell, yeah, which was arguably one of the worst things you could have had out of all the things you do play. But yeah. All right, well, I mean, that was an upset for sure. Pierre moves on to the top 8. Well done. Cool. All right, I guess that has me excited for what else to see from this Gem Knight deck in top 8 later. So don't go anywhere. We'll go on a very short break because there's no games running anymore right now. So we'll be back with the top 8 very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Hope everyone is enjoying the games so far, and we will be right back. All right, and there we are with the top 8. Let me quickly update the thing. All right, let us go in and see what's going on between Rixia and Grass, because those are two duelists we haven't seen yet so far. Reset the score to 0-0. All right. Rixia going first. 44 cards. Sets 1 passes. That cannot be the plan. Unfortunate start here in the top 8. As we see another Malice over on the other side. Abo is still in, yes. Oh, we have Toolers. Okay. March here. Back to hand. Also, I can tell you guys that in the top 8, 50% are Malice. So chances are every match has at least one. I guess shoutouts to everybody, including myself, who were thinking that Red Ransom meant anything. The second most represented is Draco Tail, though. You tried resolving Maxi against Malice. That's funny. I thought Mitsu would be the best deck. I mean, the thing is, I am biased in that regard because I like decks like Pure Mitsurugi and Pure Draco Tail. They fit my own style a lot more. So I always think, admittedly, I probably usually think that these decks are a little bit better than they actually are. But I do feel like Pure Mitsurugi is kind of like underplayed in Master Duel right now. I think Pure Mitsu is pretty solid. I think one big problem with Mitsurugi, I guess, is Pot of Prosperity and Pot of Extravagance hits. Right? You have no Prosperity and only one Extravagance, which that definitely matters. You know, you do just not open a play sometimes. Oh, yeah. Pure board is too easy to break compared to other decks. I don't think that's the reason. I do think if Pure Mitsu makes a board, it's definitely good enough. I don't have that problem when I play Pure Mitsurugi. Definitely not. All right, and Malice claims another win. To be fair, though, I think Rixia probably also on Malice there with the Dominus Impulse face down. Could have been Mitsurugi, who knows? But yeah, that was game one there. And so far, this Challenger Cup is painting a very clear picture, which is that we gotta face the truth. Malice probably still the best deck in Master Duel. So maybe in the upcoming Duelist Cup, that is still going to be the deck to beat. Who knows? Maybe it's not all about Draco Tail. I mean, one thing that also benefits Malice right now is that some people are stopping, like, it's not being targeted as much anymore, right? We see way less Lanceas. We see some retaliate, like, we've literally seen more retaliating Seas than Lanceas today. Ooh. Okay. Hold up. A meta call has been made. Rixia lost the first game, but sent grass first, and it's Tenpai, and we go Dora Dora pass. Okay, we kind of out-predicted them here. You've been outsmarted. And that was a very quick equalizer. Nice Tenpai deck. Nice Tenpai deck. All right. Well, I guess we're going to game 3, and I guess we're seeing Malice going first now. Unless they want to go Tenpai again and now force the opponent to go first. Scouting kind of cringe. I mean, this sort of stuff does happen in TCG tournaments as well, where you just like, sometimes you sit next to someone and you see what they're playing. I don't know. It's not that different here. Like people have friends that they talk to, the replays. I mean, some people are on stream as well. So like, it's kind of natural, I think. Like sometimes when you play these sort of decks, you just gotta factor in that sometimes your opponent knows what you're trying to do. All right. Now, that was a quick game 2. Let's jump into game 3 between these two. And this time it's Grass going first. Probably just whipping out the Malice again. Yep, normal summon March here. Not the best normal summon. Uva in response. Resolves. That's pretty promising. Should have played Tenpai again. Am I right? As always, the only thing that can go wrong after your Fuba has resolved. And it's Droll Lockbird. At least we still have 5 cards in hand. And the Malice player can draw. Did they open Underground both games? I mean, I am past the point where I mean, Malice, so many cards are limited that they will always draw like 1 or 2 limited cards. Like, it's getting mad at that is literally pointless with Malice. And it literally feels like they it literally feels like they're gonna have to do more to this deck. I mean, pretty obviously. I think they have to do one of 2 things. They either have to do another Malice ban, or they have to do Splash Mage Link Decoder. We're running out of options. Chain TB11. Ooh, we're gonna chain block the white binder in the banished pile to play around Ash Blossom. Not gonna draw a card from it, but still. Nah, Mordred, that's crazy. Can you show us the full breakdown? I don't have the full breakdown. They're just giving me bits of like, there's this many malice or whatever. I don't have the full thing. Maybe I can ask for it later after the tournament's done. What does it take for I mean, if they really if they wanted to get rid of malice, like actually get rid of it, the answer is Whitebinder. My prediction is they're gonna try to do something like they did with Tearlaments, right? Where Tearlaments, it's been neutered now, but theoretically it's still playable, right? Because they like basically Whitebinder is this deck's version of Kid Kalos, right? And I think they're gonna try to leave it in the realm where you can theoretically play it, but you know, it's not as dominant anymore, which I think, to be honest with you, I think they thought that Red Ransom was already gonna do that. And even though I didn't think the deck would die because of Ransom, I am still a little surprised how good and popular it still is. But realistically, I think Splash Mage Link Decoder is the best way of doing it without actually getting rid of Malice or Dormouse. I think it's Dormouse or Chessy Cat, I guess. Like just one of the names, just one of the like Chessy Cat, Dormouse, or White Rabbit. Like if you get rid of one name completely, that's gonna go a long way, because that limits the amount of names you can special summon per turn from the banished pile. Or I guess Marchair you could do too, but I do think Marchair is the least important one, even though it's very powerful. All right, 6 cards in hand. Opponent has literally not drawn a single card with the Malice engine because we had to self-draw. So if there's ever a game you can win going second against Malice, in the ones where they combo, it would be this one, but they still have so much. Did they use Firewall to add back? They did. Oh, they added Droll and Lockbird back to hand. Oh, that's fun. And it's Ryzeal. They're not going to appreciate the Droll and Lockbird in hand. I can tell you that much. And normal summon star is not what you like to see. Well, I was about to say, well, that was too late, but at the same time, it wouldn't have done anything last turn, so might as well have it this turn, I guess. But we're getting drolled anyways. We're under droll in both turns. Yep, Called by the Grave for the Droll and Lockbird, but Allied Code Talker is not going to allow that. And now Droll and Lockbird's effect applying for the second turn in a row. Now Heart Scripter banishing the Star Ryziel. And we just passed turn, and I don't see how we're gonna survive this in a Ryziel deck. There doesn't seem much there. Yeah, I mean, Rixia unfortunately not able to do much in this game. Malice is just gonna take it here with a very decisive victory. Once again, Grass moves on to the top 4 with some pretty impressive Droll and Lockbirding. All right, let's see what else we've got. What's going on between Boss and Lest? Boss has a win. Yeah, currently 1-0 for Boss. They are in game 2. And we see Gold Sarcophagus indicating that this is another Malice mirror match. I do believe Boss was also playing Malice earlier. We have Molcharmi Fualos, which is Ash. Do we have Maxi behind it? We do. Baited the Ash Blossom there. But there's Called by the Grave. Never mind. I got excited for a second. I thought Malice was gonna have to play under the influence of Maxi, but no, we opened Gold Sarcophagus, Called by the Grave, and Ash Blossom. All right, and now we're gonna refill the hand. Wicked, normal summon White Rabbit, set TB11, link 1 into Decoder. Wicked effect, banish White Rabbit, search backup. Activate backup. Search March Hare. Oh, we drew Wizard. Discard a Chi-Chi. Make Cryptor, bring back this. Make White Binder now. White Binder, banish Cryptor. Chain TB11 to chain block the banished effect. Set GWC. Flash Mage. Feels like there's not been any nip today. I mean, you can definitely tell that people are building their decks more with Draco Tail in mind, right? We haven't seen a single Lancia, which is also partially the reason why Malice is doing so well, I'm sure. All right, we use the access code Tarker instead of the allied code to clear the board here. 3 cards in hand for Boss. Activate March here. Chain Maxi, which is negated by Called by. Nice. March Hare back to hand. Cryptor and White Rabbit to the field. White Rabbit set MTP07. Activate MTP07. Banish White Binder. Search White Rabbit. Non-target banish. Now we draw a card for White Binder. Back to 7 cards in hand. Activate GWC. Banish March Hare. Bring back White Rabbit. We still have the Cryptor banish live. We go for Lingeribo, which is banished by Cryptor. And now we're live. 7 cards in hand here for less. Normal summon of March Hare. We do know a Druid's Worm in hand, yeah, that's correct. But that doesn't help much here, right? The Druid's Worm doesn't do it. We need backup, or... Wait, is backup. Oh, that's the one card we needed. We get ashed on that, though. So there's a Druid's Worm left in hand. But how do we get to more Malice Name? I guess we can Splash Mage now. But then we lose to any Bestial from the other side. But I don't see an alternative. I think it's gotta be Splash Mage, right? I think it's just gotta be Splash Mage, and then you lose to a Bestial or Impulse or Bell. We activate Druid's Worm first. Targeting Lingeribo. Chain Magnamood on that. So the Druid's Worm in hand is now used. Which means we can now go for Splash Mage, revive a Malice Name. I wonder if we had to do that on the target for the Druid's Worm, or if we could have held the Magnamood, but maybe there's more Bestials. Splash Mage not enough. Is it not enough? Splash Mage, bring back on Malice Name, make White Binder, set TB11, activate TB11, banish White Binder, summon Dormouse from the deck, draw a card with White Binder, summon itself back. You can definitely go some... Okay, yeah, okay, sure. Oh, the TB11 was gone. Oh, okay. That changes things. All right. The Magna resolves in the end phase. We have a Druid's Worm in hand now. It was 6 cards in hand. The opponent has 1 Druid's Worm. Which is not very likely to hold up, I would say. Is one way to put it. Draw for White Binder. White Binder target 3. Banish Cryptor. I feel like we should go next. Cryptor comes back with 5,000. Set a Malice Trap from the deck. Or graveyard. That's going to be MTP07 for another non-target banish. Normal summon White Rabbit. Probably move battle phase now. Should be enough. Even if the Bestial banishes White Rabbit. on boss's side. Allied Code Talker. This can bring back Access Code Talker. Banishes March here. Okay. Oh, this is just game. What are we doing here? And just negate this, banish the Druid Swarm with Cryptor, and go for game. And pop the token with access code if you want to. All right. And Malice takes down Malice. And we're headed into game 3 between these two duelists. It is now going to be Boss's turn to go first in what is likely to be a Malice mirror match. All right, Boss going first here. Charmy Perulia is pretty good against Malice, in my opinion, unless they start with Gold Sark or the Field Spell. But even then, it's like... Or Allure, I guess. But even then, cards like Marchair, Bestials, Backup Adignister, Wizard... Like, there's a lot of things that you want to summon from your hand. But here, we're going to be able to start playing without a normal summon, which is good against Perulia. At TB11. Another Allure. Okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? 6 cards in hand, 2 cards on the field already. Opponent is on 4. Go. Go. So I guess so far, Boss was not forced to summon from hand once yet. It looks like Lest doesn't have Maxi or Fuwalos, but I think eventually we are going to get some draws off of the Perulia. So maybe things are going to change then. Here's the wizard. Bringing back Dormouse. So there's the first draw. And like a Max C here could still change things, of course. But after 3 allures, it's also very likely we have an Ash Blossom now. So I don't know. And then now we're going to draw 2 with Chessy Cat as well. Alright, that means we have filtered our deck for 8 cards now. 4 monsters on the field, 6 cards in hand for Malice. Most normal Malice game. Link 3 into White Binder. Goes for Cyber's Wicked. I mean, I guess it's just free, right? I was thinking, like, do we go for Wicked if we've already used Wizard? But it is still a free search for backup, so why not? And it also banishes the binder conveniently. Eight cards in hand, right? Not 9. Still pretty. It's a lot. But we've drawn 9 cards total now, yeah. Apologic Bomber Dragon. Okay, interesting approach to the end board. Set 2 more and pass. Okay. Not going for an Allied Code Talker line. Instead, we're doing Bomber Dragon things. Which is honestly really good in the Malice Mirror. But it is a Ryziel deck. Okay, Ice Ryziel, normal summon. I mean, after drawing 9 cards though, your non-engine just has to be crazy, right? There's gotta be like Imperm, Impulse, Max C, Ash Blossoms like left and right. There's no way. It can't trigger? Yes, it can. Read it again. It says any Link monster zone. Not its own. You can summon into the zone that Wicked points and it'll trigger. Ah, the Maxi was the next card. But there was cross out. All right, Malice. I say it once again. I feel like I say it every round, but Malice moves on into the top 4 for boss here. Uncontested pretty much that game. Not much there to do for Lest. All right, let's see what the score is between Pierre and Ling Ling. Pierre has a win. Ling Ling has a win. This is game 3. There is 6 minutes left, so depending on where they are in the game right now. Rahu, Draco Tail, Chain Fuwa, Chain Ash. Use Phimena, Urgula, and Frixel. Add Ash, Frixel. Back to hand. Trigger 3. Ooh, Baylor on Arthalion. Okay, set Flame. Set Horn. Set Sting. Activate Urgula. Add back Frixel. Frixel normal summon. Really nice here. Normal Frixel. Target 5 mana. 5 mana back to hand. And end phase. Alright. Normal summon Lucius. Ooh, this is where the Draco Tails are. Okay. This is where it's at. Activate 5 mana. Use Pan and Lucius into Arthalion. In defense to respect Horn. Activate Pan and Lucius. Chain Sting to prevent one of the add-backs on the 5 mana. Chain Horn on their own Frixel. This is very risky, I think. Because now, because you're activating both traps at the same time, you're not recycling a trap. Actually, yeah, you're not recycling a trap. And if there's now an Ash or Bell on this last trap card, you might be out of traps for the rest of the game. Wait, we didn't flame Ketu? We didn't flame Ket. Is that not flame? Am I tripping? That was flame, wasn't it? It was flame. We didn't flame the Ketu, and now we have all 3 traps in the graveyard, and the grind game is ruined. Okay. We get to add back Ash Blossom at least. But we are out of trap cards now. In the Draco Tail mirror, no matter what this... Like, I mean, they are kind of equal in card advantage right now. Somewhat. But Ling Ling has all 3 traps still in rotation, and Pierre has none. Can you Arthalion to bring back traps? No, Arthalion is just monsters. Rahu Draco Tail gets Ash now. And now Verte activates, sends Branded Fusion, makes Mirror Jade. Arthalion Engrave comes back. Activate Mirror Jade, send Rindbrum. Trade Mirror Jade against Arthalion. End phase. Okay. I mean, very low on resources here. We have Ketu, but there is Flame. Do we have another Ash or Bell? We do have a Bell, probably, maybe off the top, maybe not. I don't know. But that is big for Flame here. We're catching up. Ling Ling only on 6,000 life points. So maybe if we can finish the game this turn, the fact that we don't have the traps doesn't matter. Lucius for 5 mana. We can activate 5 mana. We have a monster in hand. Lucius and Mululu, another Draco Tail. Okay. Make Secretarion. That's pretty big too. Secretarion is important here because it stops the Albaz from activating. Draco Tail Sting, however, targets Mululu, which was the only dragon, so we cannot activate Secretarion's effect. So we pass on no interruption. End phase Rindbrum, we bring back Albaz. We can't activate it, but we just get the body. And now, since those are just 2 Draco Tail spells, I think Ling Ling is cooking. I don't know how close to time they are. We are still watching the replay. We are not live yet. They still have... In real time, they still have over 1 minute left. Just barely. But we are not live yet. Urgula pops Ketu. I mean, this game is over this turn. The Gulamel just pops the Secretarion and the game ends. Yep. All right. All right, this Draco Tail Mirror ends in turn 4, something that a Malice Mirror can only dream of. And it is Ling Ling moving on to the top 4. All right. Gamers, with that, the top 8 is finished. No more games going on. Congratulations to all the duelists who made it into the top 4. We will be back with the top 4 very, very shortly. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in just a few minutes for the semifinals. All right, duelists, welcome back to the top 4 of the autumn season finals of the Challenger Cup. We have Ling Ling against Abu Hamud and FSN against Grass. As you can see, there's 3 players with the T2 tag. Pretty impressive. We're going to jump into Ling Ling against Abu Hamud simply because those two have been playing Draco Tail branded in the previous rounds, and I really enjoy watching that deck, so we're going to watch that. I know Abu's second deck was a Ryziel variation. I'm not sure about Ling Ling's second deck. Maybe we've seen it before, but I'm not sure. We have a Fualos in the standby phase, which gets ashed. Draco Tail is going to fuse Phimena and Urgula to make Secretarion. That's a pretty good start. Urgula and Phimena will trigger, setting 2. We have Ketu and Rahu now. Ketu probably goes for Lucius. Normal summon Lucius. Grabs Pan. Now going to revive Urgula with Secretarion. Maybe aiming for... That's not Seals. Is that Verte? I know Ab was playing branded. It is Verte Anaconda. Urgula, add back Phimena. There is something on the other side there. Ooh, the music. I like it. I haven't played with this field yet. I think I have it, but I haven't played with it yet. Using Valor on the Arthalion to try and add back 1 card rather than the Verte is certainly interesting. Maybe we have 2 Valors. I think Valoring the Secretarion or Valoring the Lucius was also an option. But yeah, I have the Ash, yeah. That's fair. Maybe adding back the Ash is a little too much. Our top 4, by the way, is 2 Draco Tail and 2 Malice. As their primary decks, of course. Like the way it works in this is that every player has 2 decks, but when they submit their decks, they say like, okay, this is my main deck and this is my second deck. And in top 4, we have 2 Malice duelists and 2 Draco Tail duelists with their primary decks. The secondary decks could be whatever. There could be more Malice or there could be more Draco Tail as their secondary decks, but the primary decks, 2 Malice, 2 Draco. Okay, we see Albion targeting Ash Blossom and Albaz in response to Malulu. What's happening? Ooh. This is stage 2 of the song? Dude, we're gonna fuse with the Arthalion to make Mirror Jade, and we're gonna horn bounce the Ash Blossom. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. We've seen enough. I didn't want it to end because the music, but that was a well-played game by Abo and takes the first game with that. All right, game 2. Please give me the labyrinth field again, please. Yes. There's something ironic about Abo Hamoud ashing a branded fusion. Are you still locked into fusions if branded fusion gets ashed? I think so, right? Because it's not part of the effect and the activation has not been negated. Yeah, you're locked into fusions. Okay. I like this part. When it gets more serious. Ooh, the low part is also nice. Adding Pan with Lucius. Resolving Rahu. Using Frixel. Into Gula Mill. Probably can't get the Frixel back here, so I'm not sure if it's... I mean, yeah, fair enough. Urgula, we can add back Frixel now, but we have already normal summon. But I guess we just wanted to send a spellcaster because Phimena is already back in hand. That makes sense. Alright, only 2 trap cards though. Normal summon Mululu, activate effect. What do you think about adding Draco Tail traps to Paleo? I mean, you can. It sounds fun. I'm not sure if it's gonna help make Paleo more viable, but you definitely can try. Using Pan. We got Sting. Why are we chaining Sting right now? We just don't want them to be able to activate Gulamel. I see. That's fair enough. An effect was triggered there by the Gulamel, so we get the Mululu back for free now. It's already used both of its effects, so not that relevant, but we'll see. Forced to flame Rahu here, otherwise it's gonna fuse Urgula. Gonna resolve, gonna put back Sting to draw a card. And now Ketu. Does that resolve? No, there is Ash. Okay, huge Ash. Oh, it's good, man. Might be the best soundtrack they made. I'm having trouble focusing on the game. I haven't used the field yet. No, I have it, but I haven't used it yet. I got the lab bundle, but just haven't used the field. We've summoned the third Arthalion. And we are undoing the third Arthalion. But we won't let it happen. Nice thing for Urgula and Flame. But the Molulu is negated, so I doubt we can make things. I mean, we'd have to have 5 mana in hand and draw a good Draco Tail here. Then maybe there's a small chance. It's a Fuwa, no 5 mana. All right. And that's the equalizer here between the two Draco Tail duelists. We will get one more Draco Tail mirror. In the meantime, the score between Boss and Grass is 1-0. Grass is leading at the moment. Why are you guys arguing about Sprite versus Tier right now? It's 2025. Almost 2026. All right, Abo gets to go first in game 3 here. Starting with Rahu getting ashed. Can we still play? We have Branded Fusion. All right, we preferred to get the Rahu ashed and resolve the Branded Fusion. We're fusing Frixel and Albaz to make Albion the Sanctifier. Is it because it's better or because we're Abo? I typically try to resolve my Rahu and let the Branded Fusion get ashed, but I think Abo might have different feelings about that one. Effect Veiler onto the Lucius. Chain 5 mana though, the punish. We have the 5 mana in hand. We're dodging the Veiler. Massive. It is a really strong hand. Rahu, 5 mana, Branded Fusion. Pretty good. Oh, and it's Urgula in hand. That is about perfect. Couldn't be better, actually. Making Secretarion Dragon. Mululu in hand now. Secretarion. Gonna bring back Frixel probably to get the 5 mana back. We haven't even made Arthalion on turn 1. That's kind of unusual, but I guess it works here. I mean, the Rahu also got negated, so we had one less way to fusion summon Arthalion, so fair enough. Ling Ling drawing the 4 cards here, going second. It's not impossible, but it is gonna be hard. We kind of need Bell for Flame, I think, in order to make this work. Or we need to draw Rahu and Ketu or something. There is another Ash. Okay, that works. Same thing as Bell, actually. Alright, Flame negated. Draw denied. Rahu resolving. Do we have a good fusion material in hand? That is very important here. Yeah, like a pan in hand Urgula from deck kind of a move here would be really good. Or Mululu. Abo have a pan engrave? No. It's Urgula in hand, pan from deck. Okay. I guess the only problem is if you pan pop the Secretarion, I think the Sanctifier can bring it back. We chain the Sting to get rid of the Urgula because it'll get popped anyways. Secretariat needs to be fusion summoned. Ah, well, you control this fusion summoned card. Okay, never mind then. You can just pop it. Good call. Didn't know that. Goodbye, Secretarion. Flame and Ketu. I mean, for Abo, it seems very tempting, right? To just go activate Phimena, make Gulamel, and pop the Ketu. Maybe we had to get 2 Ketus here to play around this, but we got the trap card, which is a little risky. Oh, it's Urgula anyways in hand. So we make a second Secretarion. Okay, that's coming in clutch here. Second Secretarion, Frixel Urgula, and that is gonna pop the Ketu, and the writing's on the wall. Abo takes down Ling Ling to move on to the finals. All right, well played, Abo, and congrats on another finals. What happened in the other match? The other match is over. It was Grass defeating Boss 2-0 here. Yeah. 2-0 here for Grass. So our finals is going to be T2 Abu Hamud against T2 Grass. And I don't think we have to go on a break for that one because they should be starting soon. Let me just adjust the overlay for that real quick. Which also means I can turn the music down back a little bit because we are losing the Labyrinth field user, unfortunately. We go back to a normal volume. All right. And with that, all there is left to do for the autumn season of the Challenger Cup is wait for our 2 finalists to begin their match. It is a Malice duelist against a Draco Tail duelist. We will see if Malice can be dethroned by Abu Hamud. It was a quick top 4. They still had 15 minutes left, but both matches are done. You want a prediction? Yeah, we can do a prediction. Hold up. Who wins the final? Abo or Grass? There you go. I'll give you 2 minutes to predict. There you go. Okay, both duelists at the table, just waiting for their sign to begin. Abo is on mainly Draco Tail, secondary deck Ryziel Mitsurugi, I believe. And T2 Grass was on Malice, and I don't think we've seen the secondary deck yet. I don't think we've seen it. I might be wrong, but I don't think we have. But so far, all we've seen is Malice Gaming. It might also, it could be two Malice decks, but slightly differently built. That is also something you can do. Wasn't Grass the one that got caught on Tenpai? I don't think so. Maybe? Maybe it is Tenpai secondary deck. Maybe you're right. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. Tenpai is the second deck? Okay. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised that some Tenpai duelists are running around again, because every time Red Reboot is good against some of the top tier decks, I feel like some people try out Tenpai, and it makes some sense. I mean, I'm sure the Draco Tail matchup is manageable if you open Red Reboot with Tenpai. Because at this point, if you have Red Reboot, all you have to really worry about is like Bimena. And that's main phase only, so if you have Kaiman access, then they basically need Ash or they explode. Late to the party, what decks are in the finals? It is Abo on branded Draco Tail, secondary deck Mitsu Ryziel against Grass, on Malice, secondary deck Tenpai. Is the finals. All right, and here we go. It is the new top tier deck in Draco Tail against the old top tier deck in Malice. Abo wins the coin toss, potentially big one. Going first here in the first game. By mana effect. Cannot impulse that because we don't have cards on the field yet. So if we have two Draco Tails to fuse with here, this might already be an amazing start. We are thinking about it. It's resolving, but it doesn't seem to be as easy of a choice. And it's Urgula and Mululu to make our Stallion. Okay. Maybe we had the option to include like an additional monster, or we had the option to maybe go for like we had a spellcaster as well to go for like Secretarion, who knows. Chainlink 1 Arthalion to add back 2, Chainlink 2 Urgula, and Mululu looks strong to me. Set Ketu. Set Rahu, probably. Unless we've drawn it. Nope, there's Rahu. One thing that sometimes is scary with this kind of opener is if the Rahu now gets impulsed or ashed, you might not get to your trap cards. But you still have 5 mana in hand, and you still have the link that you make with Lucius and Arthalion, which in some cases is seals. In this case, I think it's probably going to be Verte. And then if you go for Verte, you can still go for Sanctifier and at least set one of the traps, right? Goes for another 5 mana here. All right, and now activate Rahu, which is also resolving. Grass not seeing any interruptions here, which could either be a very unfortunate Malice hand, or maybe is it Tenpai? It could be. Maybe it's a board breaker variant of Tenpai. We'll see. All right, fusing 5 mana with Pan into Gulamel, resolving both. Sets Flame, as well as Horn. There is something on the other side. Maybe it is Malice and we just haven't drawn an Eruption. Goes for Branded Fusion with Verte Anaconda. Sends Frixel. That's going to be the 3rd trap card. There is something over there. Is it March here? Adding back 5 mana to hand. It is March here. Okay, it is not Tenpai. March here, Banish White Rabbit is a scary thing to see, honestly. And the Draco Tail Endboard is not unbreakable. This is a lot of gas here already from T2 Grass. In the end phase, we're activating TB11, banishing the March here. So we're gonna be starting the turn with White Rabbit on the field already. Now, we're getting ashed here, which is bad news, but at the same time, we have baited this Ash Blossom before even playing on the turn. The March here is going to go back to hand, so we're going to still start the turn with 5 cards in hand, White Rabbit already on the field, and the Ash Blossom already baited out, which is not bad here for Grass. All right, 5 cards in hand. Let's see if we can make it work. There's still a lot to go through from the Branded Draco Tail deck here. And the first thing we do is make a Lingaribo to deal with some of these Draco Tail trap cards, if we can. We could once again see something similar from Abo, like we've seen in previous games, where you go Albion, the Sanctifier Dragon effect, give the opponent Ash Blossom in attack mode, give yourself Albaz, and then Horn the Ash to your hand. All right, banish March here for Allure of Darkness. Add it back to hand. Now we're up to 6 cards for basically free. So essentially 6 cards in hand now. Lingaribo on the field for Grass. Without even committing anything, really. Activate backup at Ignister. It's a very strong Malice hand, I would say. Grabbing Wizard. What are we discarding? Rolling Lockbird. Yeah, won't need that one anymore. I mean, could potentially have self-drolled to stop the traps from drawing cards, but probably not worth it here. March Hare effect to get a third body onto the board. Now we chain Phimena. Now is when we start interrupting. Called by the Grave onto Phimena, though. That's gonna stop the Gulamel from chaining, but we are gonna dodge that with Sanctifier, which is pretty smooth. Is there a bell as well for the Sanctifier or Impulse? Looks like we're just resolving. Okay, so the called by will be essentially negated by the Albion here because the Phimena is no longer in the graveyard. So that's going to resolve. And now you can fuse Phimena away with its own effect, which is very funny. You can just fuse your own Phimena with the yes. Phimena fuse with itself and Mululu into Mysterion the Dragon Crown. And that's gonna spell some trouble. All of the Cybers monsters are gonna be banished by Mysterion. That is really good. Phimena is also gonna activate to create some follow-up. That is also going to solve our Lingeribo problem. The Gulamel can still activate once we use the trap card. There's still an Ash Blossom that we could return to hand if we wanted. Sets Ketu. Sets Rahu. And banishes all Cybers. And that might already be enough. We have Magnamood to keep going. Very strong Malice hand. Besides the fact that we didn't draw any interruption for Abo's turn, like, it's still a really strong hand. Okay, Magnamood banishes White Rabbit. Both activate now. White Rabbit coming back. This is probably a good moment to go Horn, target Ash, and then Gulamel destroy the White Rabbit before the trap hits the field. Looks like Abo agrees. And now Ash back to hand. I love that play. It's very nice. Draw one. And that is going to be enough to end the turn here for Grass and Abo with a full hand and a full spell trap zone and a bunch of monsters on the field already. Probably going to be able to drive this one home relatively easily from here. And it looks like, so far in the big Draco Tail versus Malice matchup here in the finals, it looks like Draco Tail is going to take the lead. Now there is a Bestial in hand from Grass. There's a GWC face down that we're gonna have to play around here. Not as simple as go to battle phase. We do need to worry about what's gonna happen there. Searching an Urgula. That's gonna force the GWC to be activated. And we go for Chaos Star Source Dragon. Targeting the Magnamut. Activating Malulu. Activating Urgula. That means the Magnamut is going to be gone. And we have to activate GWC. No, we're not even bothering. Okay. I think Grass sees the writing on the wall. Not going to bother dodging this Urgula with the GWC. Chaos is going to destroy the Magnamut. Now, Druisworm blocks a decent amount of damage here. I think actually might survive with the Druisworm. Okay, now not anymore because we took the 2-3Ks. All right, anyways. And there it is. Brand the Dracotail wins game 1. And now it is, I guess, an interesting question whether Grass is going to go for Malice going first or whether we pick Dracotail Tenpai and go second. We've seen that before, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, Mysterion is two-sided, so if you use Mysterion on a Bestial, it banishes your own dragons. All right, Abo leads in the finals. And our duelists are ready for the second game. Let's find out whether Abo is going to win it all or if Grass will get us to a game 3. Grass gets to choose if they want to go first or second now. And I guess that depends on whether they want to play Malice or Tenpai in this next game. And it is going first. All right, so we're going to see the Malice deck here, unless the Tenpai deck is doing some very crazy things. Normal summon of White Rabbit is met with a Moltrami immediately, which resolves. Okay. Setting GWC, setting another one, setting 2 more, another one. 5-set pass against the Fualos. Okay. What is going on here? Pre-preparation of rights. It is a Mitsurugi deck. Mitsurugi Mirror. And Habakiri added. Uh-oh. Now, what does 5 sets mean? If there's a red reboot. If there's a red reboot on 5. Activate Habakiri. resolves. Saji. I don't think there's a Malice Trap face down, because wouldn't you set a Malice Trap before summoning White Rabbit? Surely, right? Ominous Impulse. Okay, is there red reboot? No, there is no red reboot. The prayers will be negated, but the Habakiri will still activate. It's a pretty early impulse, I guess. I'm not sure if that's gonna help here, because now the mirror is resolving, and that's gonna spell trouble. No called by. I mean, no called by is a read that you can already make based on the fact that the Fuwalo's resolved, right? I think it's just gotta be infinite impermanences at this point, right? Or duplicate impulse. Because once again, we normal summoned White Rabbit without setting, which means we don't have TB11 or MTP07, I think. Unless you want to bait a Veiler, I guess, onto the White Rabbit, maybe. Yeah, maybe you want the White Rabbit to get Veilered if you have like one of those two in hand. Could be. Maybe it's deliberate. As we see Dynamondo being summoned. Which is targeting the White Rabbit, actually. We're trying to get rid of the target for the GWC. Instead of hitting one of the back row. Could have also shuffled the GWC itself, I guess. There's Imperm number 1. So remaining face downs, we've got GWC and 2 more unknown. Set 1 end phase. It is TB11. Wait, we didn't manage to summon Murakumo this turn, right? It wasn't properly. Both trap. We had both traps and normal summoned White Rabbit. I guess we didn't care if we got. I'm so confused. So why did the Habakiri not search Mitsurugi Ritual? So we have Dynamondo, but we cannot summon Murakumo with it. All right, now that's not looking great. How did Murakumo not get summoned? We all don't know. No one knows. We have another Ash Blossom. The second one, this time preventing the Chessy Cat to draw. Time is also ticking. I think if Abo doesn't have great defensive options this turn, might want to consider going next. Because right now there's over 20 minutes left, which means game 3 going to be able to go first basically unbothered. But if we're going to play this out, we might get in trouble if we lose and then there's not much time left. I think he only opened pre-prep as the only Mitsu stuff and Impulse got prayers, so he has no way to get Mura after that with no other extender. He normal summoned Kusanagi though, right? So it's got, at least we had Kusanagi. I'm not saying that's a great Mitsu card to have, but I feel like it should have just been Habakiri summon Saji, search the ritual spell, activate the ritual spell. If that gets impulsed, you can summon Kusanagi to try and add the ritual spell back, which then that gets impulsed, I guess. Oh, we added, wait, we had a Murakumo ad and we added Kusanagi for prayers? Yeah, okay, then why is it not mirror tribute Murakumo? He added that of Murakumo from... Wait, so we activated mirror, tributed... We activated mirror, tributed Murakumo, summoned Haba? We could have just done that the other way around, no? Oh, we have Nib though. Ooh. Haba was in grave, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's hard for me to judge. I'd have to see the hand. I would have to see the entire hand. It's hard to reconstruct. All right, we're not done yet though. We have GWC still. Brings back Whitebinder. But is that even good enough? I mean, we can link Spider, make access code. We can link Spider for Splash Mage, which we haven't done yet. But without Ransom, that's not as strong. It is access code talker indeed. Gains attack points. Now we have to activate prayers? No? Okay. We'll just let it pop. No guaranteed follow-up for you. Goodbye prayers. Not sure why we didn't chain that prayers. That was a lot of card advantage for next turn. And guaranteed follow-up and everything. If there is a next turn. And there is a next turn. Yeah, we would have survived. If we chained prayers there, we would have like everything next turn. Chaining prayers there or activating prayers there gives you like 4 cards. You get the prayer search, you get the Habakiri search, you get the revive from prayers to summon Kusanagi and add back. That's like 3 extra cards in hand and an extra body on the board. Yeah, we probably weren't toggled on. But it's a big deal. That's a huge deal. It's a very bizarre game. I agree. Normal Ash is usually not a sign of strength. Okay. Showing the 3rd Ash in hand, I guess. But still, I think that game is something to look back on, maybe. Something didn't look right to me there. Like, I feel like there must have been a way against that Malice opener to win with Mitsu there. But I don't know. We would have had a lot of follow-up if we activated the prayers. But sometimes maybe you don't toggle on fast enough against access code. That does happen. All right, and it's now time for game 3, where Abo gets to choose first or second, and Grass gets to choose between Tenpai and Malice. So I guess, I mean, it's a scary call for Abo to make though, right? Do you really send someone first who could just bring Malice? It's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. It's a crazy call to make, right? Just say you go first to a Malice player because they have Tenpai as their secondary deck. It's the kind of thing that makes you look really smart if it works. But they could also go terribly wrong. I guess we'll find out. All right, last game of the autumn season. And Abo has selected going second. We made the call. We predict Tenpai. What's happening? End phase. Oh, I think he got it right. Unless it's Malice and no, it's Tenpai. Yeah, we predicted Tenpai. We got Tenpai. Molt Charmy Perulia is applied, but Ketu Draco Tail means it's Draco Tail, and that does not care much about Perulia. All right, good call, Abo. And now it's gonna be up to... Okay, Dominus Impulse on the Ketu. We're just hoping. Maybe it's the only starter. Maybe. Do we have more ways to start playing? Do we have Phimena, Rahu, Branded Fusion, anything? We have Lucius. That gives a draw to the Perulia. But Lucius is resolving, it seems like. No Imperm. We add Phimena. And Phimena will resolve. There's no more Impulse being able to be activated. Phimena is resolving. Can we get 8,000 damage here easily? We have to use the Lucius from field, which is going to make it a little harder, but Secretarion is going to be able to add some damage. It's going to be able to bring some stuff back onto the field. This can do 8,000 damage. This is summon number 2. Lucius, Secretarion, revive Urgula. I think Urgula is 2,400? Yes. So Secretarion reviving Urgula and then Rahu summoning an Arthalion is 8,000 damage in 4 summons. Also, we don't have to... Yes, I always forget. We don't have to respect Nibiru because Impulse was used. But we used the Urgula Graveyard effect, actually, because we need the Phimena in hand for Rahu. I guess we can just fuse Pymena with Pan. And then bring back Pan. That also works. Yep, there it goes. We even add an additional Mululu into the mix. So we can add more stuff back with our Thalion, I suppose. We have to leave a Spellcaster and a Dragon in the graveyard here. Pymena effect. Mululu effect. Putting the Mululu in the graveyard there is an interesting choice, right? Because it opens up Magnemute. But the Mululu has been added back immediately. Now Secretarion trying to bring back Pan. This could be it. Do we win this Autumn Finals based on a mind game? We predicted Tenpai, and I think we do. All right. Tenpai has been predicted, and Tenpai has, I mean, presumably Tenpai has been caught off guard there, and Abahamud with branded Draco Tail takes down Grass to become the Autumn Season Challenger Cup champion. Congratulations, Abo. What a finals it was. That was pretty exciting. I'm not gonna lie. The it takes some mental strength to tell a Malice duelist you can go first because I think you're gonna play Tenpai. That is definitely impressive. So well done. Also, congratulations to Grass for getting second place. Once again, it's been an awesome season of Challenger Cups. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for participating in Challenger Cups. Go !Challenger Cup if you want to join the Challenger Cup Discord and join future tournaments yourself. Hope you enjoyed today's stream. I will be back at some point. Like, I'm not sure. I wanted to take some days off before the Duelist Cup second stage next week. So I will probably, I'll let you know over on Discord. !Discord if you're not on my Discord server yet, but I'll let you know on my Discord when the next stream is going to be. But I want to take some time to prepare for the Duelist Cup and get some other things out of the way this week, so I can focus on the second stage of the Duelist Cup, which is starting next Friday. So at the very latest, I will see you all on Friday for the second stage of the Duelist Cup. I might throw in 1 or 2 streams during the week if I feel like it, depending on how my preparation is going. But yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the Autumn Season Finals, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye, everybody. Peace.